From the moment he stepped up on stage, we knew Reggie was different.
My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass, I'm about taking names, and we're about making games.
This wasn't your grandma's Nintendo. This was a new Nintendo, and ready to fight. But Reggie's place in the gaming world was only truly solidified after his most iconic moment to date.
My body is ready.
We've all heard these iconic words probably hundreds of times by now. But it turns out there's a little more to "my body is ready" than you might have guessed. There's a whole lot of history hidden in those 4 words, and it's actually more heartwarming than you'd expect. Let me explain. It was in the year 2003 when Reggie Fils-Aimé joined Nintendo in the role of Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? But when Reggie joined the company, he was shocked by what he saw. He knew Nintendo were struggling at the time. GameCube sales were dismal. Not even Reggie himself owned one. But more than that, the company seemed to be going through an identity crisis. To try and attract new consumers, the marketing division was really trying anything. Case in point, they had started using a graffiti version of the Nintendo logo to market their products, with unsurprisingly limited success. Reggie knew right away this was dumb. If they wanted to change Nintendo's brand image, they had to do that through new products, new games, not by changing the font of the company's logo. They needed to make an impact on consumers. And it was 7 months later at E3 2004 that this opportunity would finally come around. Nintendo had a number of exciting games in the works, plus an entirely new handheld console to reveal, the DS. But perhaps their biggest asset that year was Reggie himself. This was the year that Nintendo would reveal Reggie to the world. Now, there was a lot of discussion amongst Nintendo's executives over how to introduce Reggie, but they knew they needed to make an impact. And after much discussion, they decided on 3 simple sentences to introduce him with.
My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass, I'm about taking names, and we're about making games.
But it was actually Reggie himself that was the most resistant to this introduction. Was this really how Nintendo wanted to portray themselves? Was this a meaningful change, or just another graffiti logo for the company? But it was actually Nintendo's new products that convinced Reggie to use the introduction. In his own words,
Not only was there this brash executive making these statements, but here was the Nintendo DS. Here was excitement around a new Zelda game, and the momentum began to shift.
But 3 years later, everything changed once more. Not only did Nintendo have a new console out, the Wii, but they had a new game to show off at E3 2007, Wii Fit. This revolutionary fitness game allowed gamers to train in the comfort of their own home. And at the center of the Wii Fit experience was this, the Wii balance board. And so it was planned that Nintendo would show off how this balance board worked in the middle of their E3 conference. And the man demonstrating the board would be none other than Reggie Fils-Aimé. Now, to get an E3 show ready for public performance, it takes a lot of run-throughs. And so the 3 people on stage, Reggie, game designer Shigeru Miyamoto, and translator Bill Trinan, rehearsed this balance board demonstration many times over the course of a few days. And in Reggie's own words, it grew to be a little monotonous, a little dull. And so every time Reggie stepped up onto the board, he would make a little wisecrack, a funny comment. And afterwards, he would carefully look towards Miyamoto. All he wanted to do was make Shigeru Miyamoto laugh. And so, Reggie tried a number of jokes, without much success. Perhaps the language barrier was too much, or maybe he just didn't find Reggie's humour all that funny. But then, during one of the run-throughs, Reggie tried a different joke. My body is ready. And instantly, he noticed a change. Miyamoto was chuckling, and then full-on laughing. He had done it. He had done the seemingly impossible, made Miyamoto laugh. And in the following rehearsals, Reggie tried a number of other jokes, but nothing proved to be as successful as my body is ready. And so, on the day of the performance, no one knew for sure what Reggie was going to say when he stepped up onto that balance board. Reggie didn't know either, he hadn't decided yet. But in front of the thousands of people watching, the millions at home, Reggie decided to go with the one comment that had made Shigeru Miyamoto laugh.
My body is ready.
Little did Reggie know, little did anyone know, how important these 4 words would prove to be. Over the next decade, they became a sort of rallying cry for Nintendo fans, and one that Reggie would never leave behind. In his TV appearances,
My body is ready.
during later E3 performances,
My puppet body is ready.
and perhaps most poignantly, during the announcement that he was retiring from the company.
I leave in good health and good spirits, and believe me, my body is still ready.
Thanks for watching. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at ThomasGdocs for updates, and you can subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And I will see you next time. Goodbye!